Welcome to That's My Farm. I'm your guest host, Sam Capone, and with Kansas wheat harvest starting in central Kansas, we thought we'd set out and check it out. So on this episode, we're going to meet with two farmers. As well, we're going to hear the details of the Kansas Wheat Yield Contest, and we're also going to hear from a custom silager. So stay tuned to see what they have to say.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back. Now we're in Saline County, Kansas. We're going to hear from Tom Maxwell and Mark Pettijohn.
I'm Tom Maxwell. I'm District Extension Agent for Central Kansas Extension District, which is made up of Ottawa and Saline counties here in Central Kansas. My role as an extension agent is to certify the acreage and the harvesting of the plot contest, which is sponsored by Kansas Wheat. The contest specifies that a farmer cut a minimum of 5 acres, which is measured, and then we haul the grain to the elevator. It's weighed there, and a yield is calculated on the contest plot.
I'm Mark Pettijohn. We're in Saline County cutting the first wheat field of the year. This wheat is Everest variety, planted October 7th of 2014. And it had 2 split rate applications of twin line. One was 6 ounces in April, and one was 8 ounces in May, on May 1st. And it was also wheat last year, so it went wheat, fallow to wheat again now. And we're entering this 7 acres that's remaining into the wheat contest. About 15 days ago, I went around and walked every field on a Sunday, and it took 5 hours. And I walked almost every field and tried to get a walking point of view. I already had a sprayer's point of view looking down at the crops, and I knew where the weeds were and where the drowned out spots were, but I wanted to know where I could find 5 acres suitable for the contest that was extraordinary. And I actually found 5 fields. I couldn't decide which ones to pick from, so I entered all 5. We're cutting right next to where I live now. We just came from a field that was entered into a Saline County yield contest, and the final numbers there were 83.92. Quite a bit better than what I thought even when I woke up this morning. I'm really happy. This is a different variety of wheat that we're cutting here, but it was treated the same with 2 split rates of twin line fungicide, early April, 30 days later, early May. Received a lot of rainfall, of course, and was planted in mid-October. This particular field was soybeans last year. As a matter of fact, it was entered into the soybean contest and won the district. And like I said, was planted in mid-October, which is really the perfect date for our location. And all indications on the first round is it was doing really good. I hate to say what it was showing, but it's probably going to make well over 60, maybe 70 if we're lucky, I would guess. There's some drowned out spots on the east end.
Stay tuned. After the break, we're going to hear from Dwight Faulkner and Mark Pettijohn about the contest fields in Dickinson County, Kansas.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm your guest host, Sam Capone. Now let's hear what Mark has to say about his plots in Dickinson County.
Hello, I'm Dwight Faulkner with Tallgrass Commodities. Typically we're in the office moving feed byproducts. Today I had the opportunity to work with a good friend of mine, Mark Pettijohn, here in Dickinson County, working on their yield program for the day here in Dickinson. Got to go through and cut out a patch of about 6 acres to test for yield today. The yields are going to run between 60 and 70 on this field, which is pretty good at this point. Soon we'll be going down to the elevator, weigh it, get moisture samples, and then we'll send that off to Topeka for the yield contest for Dickinson County. It's a great opportunity for us to get out of the office and see what's going on in the area.
Today we are on the Dickinson County side of our farm. We also farm in Saline County. This wheat is a quarter section that has terraces, as you can see behind me. The custom crew has 3 combines and I think 1 grain cart going. It's cedar seed wheat that has quick roots root stimulator on it. And to my right is a plot that we're cutting out for the contest. And he just said on the phone it was making between 60 and 70. So the field average is probably beneath that. It's a field that was planted October 21st of last fall. And I'm happy with it. It's cash rented ground. I'm happy it's got a few weeds. It had some funny emergence last fall, but it really tillered nicely even in the spring. And I probably had it guessed at 30, 20, 40. I kept changing my mind, so I'm happy.
Stay tuned. After the break, we're going to hear from Mark and Tom about the rain in the area and the effects that it had on the wheat harvest.
Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. As fourth-generation farmers themselves, they understand the importance of using the correct products on every acre. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag offers quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today at 800-760-4964 or find us online at HeinenBrothersAg.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher. Get the new hired hand for yourself or become a distributor. Visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. With all of the recent rain we've had in our area, we had some questions about maybe the effects that it'd have on the wheat harvest. So let's hear from Tom and Mark about what they have to say.
Some years we actually are close to finishing up with harvest. Actually, we've just been a day or two into harvest here in Saline County anyway, so we're a bit later maybe than normal, but not extremely late. And so as it's shaping up right now, we may be finishing up into that first week of July as it appears now. And that's assuming that we don't get into any rain events that are going to slow us up due to muddy fields or wet, high moisture situations with the grain. We are seeing some late green tillers in many fields around Saline County. What I am seeing as I'm out in the field, and particularly here during harvest, is that some of these late green heads came on as a result of some of the freeze injury that occurred back in March and possibly April. As tillers were damaged or killed, the wheat plants tried to compensate and release some of the late third or tertiary tillers to replace some of the tillers that were injured by freeze events.
We started harvesting, I think, June 20th last year, so a few days sooner, but we finished full season planting a few days later last year compared to this year. And even though my hired man has done a great job keeping up with everything, the one thing that we're behind in is side dressing. We have one cornfield that did not get properly side dressed because of the mud. We only had 2 fields of corn. We got the big field properly side dressed. The second field was not properly side dressed because it's in the CSP grant program, and with that program our enhancement requires us to not fertilize more than 30 days prior to planting. Obviously our plan was to fertilize after the crop was up in 2 different applications. We got the first one done May 1st, but the second one never got done because of the heavy rainfall, and now the corn is 7 feet tall and it's impossible to run the coulter rig into the corn now. I did spray it for weeds. It got terrible weedy. It has a drowned out spot. I showed it to insurance, but most of the 60 acres is awesome looking corn despite the lack of nitrogen, but there's a portion of the field that's drowned out. It'll be 0, and maybe with 60 units of N plus the starter it'll be fine. The extension agent thought it would be fine as is.
Stay tuned. After the break, we're going to hear from a custom silager who bales up wheat straw.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Well-designed container flower gardens bring beauty to your home, at your entry, on your patio, or placed in a special spot in your landscape. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plant combinations which will add the color and style you need and that will survive the summer to provide beauty till frost.
Our annual flat sale is going on now. Choose a flat of 4 packs for just $18.99.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest 3/4 of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. We're now going to hear from a custom silager who follows the wheat harvest and bales up the straw afterwards.
I'm Courtney Wilson. I work for Pacific Ag out of Hugoton. And we're here today in Halstead, Kansas. We're baling up wheat straw. This wheat straw is going to be used in many different ways. Some of it will be used for reclamation projects. Some of it will even go to mushroom farms. Dairies use the wheat straw that we bale, feedlots, a lot of the livestock sector uses it. In our operation in southwest Kansas, most of our straw and residues go to a cellulosic ethanol plant in Hugoton. And we also supply dairies and feedlots out there. In wheat straw, for instance, guys will either drop the wheat straw right behind the combine, or we can come in and swath off the wheat straw. We bale it, we haul it off, and for the farmer, it's all hands off. All they have to do is provide us a field to harvest the residue, and we take it from there. It's the same way in corn stalks. We come in and we shred it, we bale it, and we haul it off. We pay real quick. We pay half within 30 days of getting the residue harvested, and then the other half within 30 days of removal. You know, some of the concerns that we see, guys, erosion is a big thing. We leave at least half of the residue, so the plant is still intact, which helps with the wind erosion and also with water erosion. And we do leave enough residue that still helps with the water retention. And so, like I said before, the guys are actually seeing increased yields on their irrigated land in western Kansas. We're seeing a lot of no-till guys wanting to use our service, especially in southwest Kansas, just for the sheer fact is they have so much residue in their irrigated land. The residue causes problems in the spring when they plant. The ground stays too cold when they have too much residue, and when we come in, we can harvest half the residue off and leave half the residue. And guys are seeing better emergence, better yields, and so they're seeing a better return on their investments from their increased crop yields, and plus with the fees, or with the stubble fees that we are paying them. So they are seeing increased revenue across the board. If people are interested in what we do, they can call our office at 844-RESIDUE, that's RESIDUE, or they can go to pacificag.com, and you can learn more about us. We have farmer testimonials on there, guys that we harvest for currently that will tell you what they're seeing on their own farms and see how what we do is benefiting them.
Stay tuned to That's My Farm. After the break, we're going to hear from a familiar face, Katie Sawyer, and she's going to talk to us about her family's farm with the wheat harvest.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe. Here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center, utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
No matter where, no matter why, The Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Fresh herbs are healthy and add zest to almost every recipe. The folks at Jackson's grow more than 50 varieties of herbs right here, and many are available year-round. Our staff has hands-on experience and can't wait to assist you with your herb needs. Stop in and see us at Jackson's. We're open 7 days a week.
The biggest, largest selection of homegrown herbs is at Jackson's Greenhouse, with 4-inch pots starting at just $3.79.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. Now we certainly couldn't stop in central Kansas without seeing a familiar face, Katie Sawyer.
I'm Katie Sawyer. Normally I'm co-host of That's My Farm, but today I'm actually home on my farm here outside of McPherson in McPherson County, Kansas. We started wheat harvest yesterday, so we are in day 2 of wheat harvest. We anticipate this taking approximately 5 to 6 days, depending on what kind of mud and other issues we run into. We got started a little later than some of the people around here. We chose to go ahead and finish up planting the soybeans and then the milo over the weekend. So all the planting for the fall crops of 2015 is taken care of. So now we're on to wheat. And the wheat is looking good. We got rain, we got plenty of sunshine, and we've had lots of heat lately to dry things out. We still have some muddy spots, but overall, we've been able to move pretty seamlessly from field to field. We're doing above average yields. It varies some because of some of the intense rains we got and some of the hail and wind that did cause a little problems on some of the low ground that drowned out, and then some of the high ground that just didn't get as much moisture. But we've had enough straw that we've been able to follow the combine with the baler and bale a lot of the wheat straw. We'll use the wheat straw this winter for both feed and then bedding for our cattle. It's a nice filler for our feed, and then it creates just a great bedding when we're calving those cows and heifers this winter. That creates a nice surface for them to calve on. So we get a lot of use out of our wheat crop here. We have about 1,000 acres that we'll cut total. Like I said, it'll take 5 to 6 days. My husband and his crew work pretty seamlessly throughout the day. He starts about 10 o'clock in the morning and will end up around midnight. We're very fortunate this year. My son Evan, who turned 2 in April, was riding along and loving harvest this year. He rides with his dad. He loves the combine, and it reinforces the values of growing up on the farm. He gets to see his dad at work. He gets to go to work with his father, and he gets to just see his grandfather and multiple generations working together to harvest a crop. And he gets to see, as part of the planting season, a full season of crops, cattle, and how it all works together. As I mentioned before, all of our corn, soybeans, and milos in the ground. Some of the farmers in the area are still balancing planting of maybe a little bit of soybeans and then their milo with trying to get the wheat harvested. I think most people have moved to the combine since it is nice and dry for wheat harvest season. And then we actually started irrigation this week. The old adage goes, if you're cutting wheat, you should be irrigating corn, and we're doing just that. We are fortunate to have moved all of our flood irrigation to subsurface drip irrigation within the last year, which immensely cuts down both our water usage and the time it takes us to irrigate our crops. As you'll notice on this field, we still have a couple pivots in place. Pivots like this will allow us to come back and actually use this ground again, likely for soybeans, maybe milo, that we can go in and double crop, and if we don't get the rains we need, we have the irrigation system to get the crops to go. So we really get a lot of use out of each of our grounds, and we're using our water as efficiently as possible through more efficient irrigating means.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you stay tuned every Friday for another episode of That's My Farm.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.